So Shauna Harper is the online marketing and internal communication strategist for Live Work PG, also known as the Keeper of the Magic. But as of Saturday night, the 2013 Prince George Chamber of Commerce Business Person of the Year. Shauna, congratulations.
Thank you. It's an honor.
So what went through your mind when your name was called on Saturday night?
Complete shock. You should have seen us there. We were just, my husband and I looked at each other. He's like, you said you weren't going to win. And I was like, I wasn't supposed to win. And we didn't even have our camera. And we're kind of, it was a complete shock and very humbled by the, especially because of the other nominees are just such high caliber people. So very, very honored.
What does it mean to you to get this honor from your peers within the business community?
It's a huge honor, and it means more than I think people realize, because as much as I do Live Work PG, I think the reason I was voted for Business Person of the Year is my work with the startup community. And the startup community started out being a bunch of entrepreneurs coming together, trying to create more of a culture of entrepreneurship. But it really has trickled more into the greater part of Prince George, which is the entrepreneurial spirit in Prince George, and that what has been deemed as can-do attitude, and trying to focus that into how can we pull our city forward, how can we create a more innovative energy, how can we welcome people with innovative ideas, whether they are successful or they fail, but welcoming new ideas and from it collaborating together. And so that whole honor of bringing attention to the startup community really tells me that this is just the beginning. And it really is just the beginning of kind of the momentum that hopefully will come from this, is that people that may not have heard of Startup Prince George will now know that there is a group of us out there that are looking, how can we jumpstart the city? How can we ignite that innovative, kind of creative side of our city that I believe exists, but it's a matter of how do we focus it into something that will actually create something.
Would you feel then that the Prince George business climate is just on the verge of something great?
I really do. I mean, I am very much a part of the kind of more of the youth entrepreneurs, because with their startup community, the majority of them, I'm probably one of the older ones. They're 35 and under or so. And what I've discovered is that people see me as a mentor to this community, but what they don't see is the reverse mentoring that happens. The type of stuff that where I get to know what's going on and get my finger on the pulse of what's coming up new, which is very important for a social media and online marketing and technology type business of mine. But I get that because there's that reverse mentoring that happens from the people that I mentor. And when we start to open up conversations across generations, that's when the city will pull together. Because we do have, we sat around in the chamber, those tickets were $100 each. So most of my startup community wasn't there. Most of those people were either very successful, had huge track record, in their business, or they're a part of organizations that had huge track records, or they contribute to the organizations. Those are the people that we need, that have kind of the wisdom to guide, brand new entrepreneurs or newer entrepreneurs. They can guide them and kind of help figure out how to maneuver within the business world. But at the same time, I believe our startup community can offer those entrepreneurs that were there, those business people that were there in the chamber event, that way of opening their eyes, seeing what's new, seeing what's fresh, keeping relevant in their industry. Because the people that are in business that don't continue to innovate will eventually become stale, will eventually be pushed out of the market. And in order for us to constantly stay fresh, we have to keep that conversation flowing, not in one direction, but in two directions.
If you had to toss out one piece of advice for young entrepreneurs, what would that be?
Go out and talk to people. That's the big side. I think everything starts with one conversation. I think people see kind of what I've done with my business and think, oh, how did you get to that point? I was like, it started with one conversation with one person. And if that person didn't give you what you wanted, or even did, continue to have just one conversation and promise yourself to constantly just have one conversation at least a day, if not two or three, with someone different, in the sense that they can't tell you exactly what to do for your life, but they can add to the combination that you then choose. What piece of advice am I going to take that actually resonates with me? And what am I going to leave? Because, some people come with not such great energy as well. And so what am I going to leave and not take to the point where I'm like, oh, that person said I couldn't do it, so then I'm never going to be able to do it. But that's only one person's opinion. So it's about constantly just talking to people and opening up that conversation. So.
One final question. Now that you have the title of the 2013 Prince George Chamber of Commerce Business Person of the Year, does that come with some added pressure in the business community?
A little bit, I guess. I think I now have to live up to that, I guess. So, one of the ways I don't know if I'm able to do a plug or not, but on November 19th, we are doing an event that's free to the entire business community. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, and it's called Mentor to Mentor, and it's about everyone has something to offer to the table, and we're trying to create conversation across generations. And so, as long as you can have a conversation with one person, come on by and be able to see how you can actually stretch your way of thinking, stretch what you think is possible, because the city of Prince George and the people here, there's so much really that's catapulted me in my business that I know doesn't exist in urban centers. The friendliness, the openness, the willingness to share, the willingness to kind of put you under their wing type thing in both ways. And so hopefully that will be a very successful event and will prove that people should have voted for me. So,
well, yeah. Shauna, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and huge congratulations on such a wonderful honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Darren.